Ooh. Oh, damn it. I hate when that happens. What are you guys doing in here? Alright guys, how's it going? Dan the two-wheeler here, and today we're doing a slightly different video, as you can probably tell, in a slightly different environment. Basically I got a comment from, I think it was from a guy called Stubbs, which basically said he wanted to know what my GoPro setup was, what my camera setup was for motovlogging and everything, and a few people agreed with him, and to be honest I've never really talked about it before, so I thought we'd do that, just a little video talking about what's going on over here, and yeah, hopefully it helps some people out. Anyone thinking of starting motovlogging, might give you some tips. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here we have the helmet. It's a Shox Sniper, if anyone's wondering. It's got a tinted screen on it here, as you can see. And yeah, I mean it came with the standard screen. It was a pretty good deal to get this screen as well. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. Like you can see perfectly out of it at night time. But like no one can see you, and it looks pretty cool, dark and mysterious. Now I just think it looks like the sort of Stig look with the white and black. That's the kind of the look that I was going for. So it's got these two little vents up there. I don't really use them, to be honest. I think I just leave them open. There's another vent down there. And yeah, it's pretty standard sort of budget helmet. It's nothing special. It's quite scratched up now. I think I might look at getting a new one soon. But anyway, we're here to talk about the camera setup today. So, I mean, first of all, you get these adhesive mounts with GoPro when you buy a GoPro. So all I did was get one of the, I think is this the curved one or is this the flat one? I think this is the flat adhesive mount, and I basically just stuck it right in the front because I've got a chin mounted view, obviously. Now this is probably not the best way to do it because my helmet is curved, like even at the front. When I stuck this on, basically the part that's in contact with the helmet in terms of the sticky bit is literally hardly anything. I don't know if you can see this. See if we can try and focus. But essentially only the middle part of the adhesive is actually in contact. The rest of it is just like, it's just floating, which is not the most secure way of having it. You can see it there, like all this part there is just not in contact. It's just hanging off, but it's not fallen off yet. So there we go. But yeah, you can get them pretty cheap, even if you don't get it with your GoPro. You can get them from third-party websites and stuff. They're not too expensive. So yeah, that's the basis of my camera setup. So in terms of what camera I actually use, I'm sure most of you probably know by now, but it's the GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. And this is just an amazing camera. Like, I remember the first time I ever used it, I whacked it on the helmet, turned it on, and just the quality you get of such a small device is just, it's amazing. So yeah, I actually waited till I waited till the GoPro Hero 4 came out, and then this was discounted quite a lot, so I got it. But I've heard that the GoPro Hero 4's got a few issues and stuff that this doesn't. So it's really good. It doesn't really freeze up that often or anything. And yeah, great camera. In terms of how I actually mount it to the helmet, I use two mounts. Most of the time I use this, I think it's called skeleton mount basically, or skeleton casing. The reason it's called that is because it's got so many holes in it. So like at the back here, it's got two holes there, holes at the side, and which means you can access all the things, all the ports on the GoPro whilst you're sort of in operation. So I think the thing it's most useful for is to access the USB, the mini USB port, because if you want to use an external microphone with this, which is what most motovloggers do, then you need that to be accessible. So that's really good. Now I use this most of the time because I use my microphone most of the time, but just before I get into the whole audio setup and everything, there is another mount that I use sometimes, and this was the official one, the one that came with the GoPro originally, and it's just sort of a closed, there's no holes in it or anything, it's fully waterproof. This is a waterproof casing, and I do use it sometimes because I don't always have my microphone in when I'm riding, but I do like to record all the time just in case. So I do have that on there sometimes and just record and use the GoPro audio. One thing you will notice between the two casings is sort of size difference. It's hard to sort of see like this immediately, but the skeleton casing is much bigger and more chunky, and when it's on there especially it looks much bigger. Whereas this, I like it, it's really sort of compact and more subtle in terms of having the camera on there, so I do like that, but then again you can't access the pores. You could drill a hole into it, but then it defeats the point of it being waterproof and everything, and you've got this one for that, so it's alright, it does the job. So in terms of how this goes on, so yeah, I use the J, I think it's called the J mount, and basically once you've got that adhesive mount on, all this is just literally slides in from the top, like so. It's a bit tough to get in sometimes, and then you've got this little sort of screw here to tighten, choose your angle. So I normally go for, basically you want it to point where you're going to be looking, so you know if you're going to be looking down or up, you sort of estimate from there and just tighten that, and then it just looks something like that normally. So yeah, like I said, it is a bit chunkier, this mount, but there you go. In terms of the audio then, so I use one of these mic adapters, which you've probably seen, and yeah, this is an official GoPro one, and basically what it is that's a mini USB, and for some reason the microphone that I use is a 2.5mm. So what I had to do is, this is the GoPro thing, it's a mini USB and it goes to 3.5mm, but because my microphone is a 2.5mm, I had to buy another thing, which is this, and that's a 2.5 to 3.5mm adapter, so that goes into there. So yeah, this goes into your camera, that's 3.5mm there, convert it to 2.5mm, and I put that into my microphone. So this goes into the camera, as we said, and then this connects to my microphone, and I've just got this wired up in some crazy way. Like, I'm sure there's a simpler way to do it, but because the wire was really long for my microphone, this is how I've got it. So it comes from the camera into the adapter, and this is where the microphone starts. So when I'm not riding with the microphone, that's how that just sort of stays there and tucks away, but when I am, plug that into there. So yeah, I've got, with electrical tape here, the wire of the microphone going round there, all the way around the helmet, tucks underneath this sort of seal here, goes all the way around into the cushion here, goes back and forth about 10 times in there, because I don't know why this wire is so long for this mic, but it goes back and forth inside there for about 10 times, and then essentially it comes and finishes up. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this now, but comes up about there, just inside where the sort of mouth area is, and then I've just sellotaped to there, facing the cushion. But yeah, I use the Drift HD microphone actually, and I use a GoPro camera, so I'm using both Drift and GoPro products, and I think they work pretty well together. I've only started having problems recently with this mic adapter, as you've probably heard in some of my videos. It just starts crackling a lot, so I'm not sure what to do with this. Either I'm gonna get another one or something, or maybe start using an external recorder rather than recording straight into the GoPro, and see if that helps. But yeah, that's it really. I mean, pretty simple. I think it takes a bit of getting used to. It takes a while to figure out the best mic position, depending on your helmet and what sort of windproofing you got. I've got this sort of shield here at the bottom, which helps quite a bit as well with wind noise. And then yeah, it just goes on like that. In terms of actual camera settings and what settings I used to record, I'm probably not going to be the best person to ask for that, because I'm still trying to get out myself. So as a lot of you know, I always used to record in 1080p 30 frames a second. That was my standard that I always used to use. Then I switched rather recently to 60 frames a second, so that's what the last sort of 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 videos have been filmed in. And now, depending on when I put this up, I think, yeah, last week is the first time I used Pro Tune on the GoPro. So if you don't know what that is, if you go into settings, so there you have, it tells you 1080p 60 frames a second, and you can keep going into capture settings, and then keep going again, and then there's an option there that says Pro Tune on or off. Now, I'd only advise this if you're really sort of into your video editing and you know what you're doing, because if you put Pro Tune on, it all goes into manual. Like, you see, you have to choose your white balance, you have to choose if you want to use GoPro's own color correction or your own ISO limit, and you know, what's that, sharpness and all that kind of stuff. So I'd only turn Pro Tune on if you really know what you're doing, but you can turn 60 frames a second on and leave Pro Tune off, and that's pretty good. The quality's pretty good at that. Pro Tune just uses a higher bit rate, so it does look a bit better, but it's more work involved, so it's up to you if you want to do that. So finally, whilst we're talking about bit rates and stuff like that, in terms of SD cards or micro SD cards, I used to use this, which is the Samsung 64GB Evo sort of speed, and I use this because there's quite a few reviews saying that Samsung is sort of better than SanDisk in terms of less glitchy and stuff like that, and to be honest, I found that to be true. It's been really good so far. The only problem I had, especially since moving to Pro Tune and 60 frames a second, is the speed of this card couldn't keep up with the bit rate and the sort of data, the amount of data coming in per second. So very recently I just bought my new one, which is the same thing. It's still a Samsung 64GB card, but this time it's the Evo Plus, which means it's the same thing but slightly faster. So this thing can, I think it's basically got a higher bit rate that it can handle. So hopefully now I'll have sort of less problems with it stopping recording and stuff, because that happened a few times, like whilst I was recording with Pro Tune, because the amount of data coming in per second was just too high for the card. It just says stop recording. Stupid camera starts auto-focusing on random things. Yeah, so that's why I switched SD cards. I'd highly recommend them Samsung SD cards. I'll leave it in the description below. And yeah, that's it basically. That covers the sort of camera setup. If anyone's got any questions, let me know. And yeah, you should post comments if you want to know stuff like Stubbs did, because I'm always up for making videos to help people out. So I hope this helped. And back to the motovlogs next week. So yeah. See you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, how's it going? Dan the two-wheeler here,